what can something like COVID-19, what effects can it have, this type of a situation, on relationships? What are you seeing?
I think what we're going to see is there's going to be some long-term consequences to the isolation. One of the biggest things that we do in therapy is get people not to isolate, to develop relationships. That's the whole point. When we're isolative, we're not made to be in isolation. Humans were made for fellowship. They were made to have relationships, have interaction. And this has really thrown everybody for a loop. If you haven't had, and thank goodness we had the technology we do have today, we can at least see people through Zoom or FaceTime, that kind of stuff. And that helps, seeing someone, not just hearing them, because there's a lot more going on than just the hearing part. But yet you're not able to really connect and sit down and see everything that's going on. I can't really see what my brother is really going through, because I can't really assess and see through Zoom everything that's happening. I don't get all that body language, you know. But if we're deprived of that human connection, depression, anxiety, paranoia, all those things start cropping up. With our mentally ill clients, they like to isolate, and that's part of the symptoms. And so really trying to get them to connect and have that social interaction, and now we've isolated them. And some of them have come back to us and say, we love this is fantastic, but it doesn't help their mental state. It increases those symptoms. It increases that depression, suicide. And so, and then others have come to realize, I really do need that socialization. I want to come in. I need to get back to my community. I need to have a connection with someone else. You know, kids, school, a lot of things for kids. A lot of their needs are at school, where they get that socialization. That's where they make friends. That's how they learn how to develop relationships. How they learn to deal with broken hearts and disappointments and problem solving. They don't have that right now. And they're stressed out because they can't see their friends, and they're getting depressed because they can't connect with friends. They don't have that connection. It's great to have their family around. And I think at the beginning of this, it was great for good families. You were forced to have family time, which was good. But now you need some external relationships as well. To try out those skills and learn those skills. And if kids don't have that, what's going to happen in the future? They're not going to be able to make those relationships. How's that going to help with them, not only in their ongoing life, but business life? If you don't know how to problem solve or be able to read people to make relationships with, we're going to suffer. Our whole community is going to suffer. So I think there's going to be some long-term, and even with our families, you have kids and their families there, they've been stuck in, so many rooms. Thank goodness for us in our county, we have more single homes. You have your house, and so you kind of have that isolation. You don't have the apartments and you're on top of each other as much as the cities do. I feel bad for them because they can't even go out to a yard or a deck, get outside. At least most of us here can at least go in the backyard or the front yard and get some fresh air, and maybe have a little bit of space. But if you're on top of each other, it gets annoying after a while, and then you have, even under the best of circumstances, you're going to have frustrations and irritations, and how do you deal with that? You can't get away from each other. So there needs to be outlets. Phone calls, we've been doing therapy through phone calls and case management, reaching out to people, checking in with people, making sure they're okay. And that's great, but Zoom is better because we can actually see them. Obviously in person is going to even be better for their health. Another population is the substance abuse population. They go into, the big thing with substance abuse is accountability. I need to see you and make sure, Are you drinking? Are you using? Peers hold each other accountable. But if they're not around, who's holding them accountable? Again, you can put me on Zoom, you don't know what I'm doing off camera. And it's hard to assess. You can't really see me to know if I'm using or not, to hold me accountable. Those that have been around a while, if they know their triggers, they can get into one of the NA or AA Zoom meetings. And so that tends to be good for them. Newbies, those that are just going into recovery, they don't have that accountability, someone checking in with them. You know, it's a lot harder, I think, to be accountable for what you're doing. So one of the things when we could, I said we need to get our IOP going with at least Zoom, if not in person. And so we have done that. We have a small group of IOP clients, and then we have a Zoom large group that we're doing. So we're giving them some services and we're getting them together to interact with each other and help each other out. But I think there are going to be some long-term consequences down the road. We're already seeing increased suicides, we're seeing increased domestic violence, we're seeing increased substance abuse. So